In the quiet town of Hydesville, New York, in the year 1848, a seemingly innocent prank by two young sisters, Maggie and Kate Fox, would unknowingly spark a spiritual revolution that would sweep across the United States and Europe. The Fox sisters claimed to communicate with a spirit that haunted their humble abode, producing mysterious knocking sounds on the walls and furniture. Their mother, intrigued, asked the spirit questions, the answers to which were eerily accurate, delivered in rhythmic taps. The news of the Fox residence's haunting spread like wildfire, attracting the attention of a curious neighbor who reportedly witnessed these eerie sounds. The truth behind this supernatural phenomenon was far from otherworldly, however. The Fox sisters were simply cracking their knuckles, toes and joints to produce the sounds. This revelation came to light 40 years later in 1888, when Maggie Fox confessed to the New York world. By then, their childhood prank had spiraled into a full-blown spiritualism movement, and the Fox sisters, now adults, were celebrated mediums. In the wake of their eerie discoveries, the Fox sisters moved in with their older sister, Leah, in Rochester. When the supernatural events continued, Leah saw an opportunity to turn their supposed spiritual prowess into a profitable venture. And so, the business of spiritualism was born. In November 1849, the Fox sisters demonstrated their supposed abilities to a paying crowd of nearly 400 spectators at Corinthian Hall in Rochester. The press caught wind of their exploits, and soon the sisters were hosting public demonstrations in New York City. The Fox sisters' rise to fame was not without its skeptics. Many denounced them as frauds, with some correctly guessing the source of their supernatural sounds. But for many others, the Fox sisters were the real deal, and spiritualism was a genuine phenomenon. This belief led to an influx of self-proclaimed mediums, each hosting their own shows purporting to communicate with the dead. The spiritualism movement was unique in its tie to the burgeoning media and entertainment industries in the United States and Europe. The business of spiritualism was not just about communicating with the dead, it was a theatrical spectacle with elaborate lighting, music, and table-tipping seances. The Fox sisters were not the only celebrities of this movement. Other mediums like Ira and William Davenport gained fame for their magic shows, attributing their tricks to spiritual intervention. Despite the best efforts of stage magicians who sought to expose the spiritualists as frauds, spiritualism remained a popular phenomenon throughout the 19th century. The allure of communicating with the dead, the thrill of the unknown, and the spectacle of the seances captured the public's imagination. This was the era of spiritualism, an era sparked by a simple prank by two young sisters in a small house in Hydesville, New York.
Does belief in spiritualism shape society, or does society shape the belief in spiritualism? A tantalizing question to ponder upon. The history of spiritualism is a captivating journey that unfolds like a riveting novel. It all began innocently with the Fox sisters, who were merely teenagers when they claimed to communicate with spirits. This phenomenon quickly spread like wildfire, catching the attention of a society thirsty for solace and answers. The mid-19th century was a time when the world was grappling with the aftermath of the Civil War. Death was a frequent visitor in many households, leaving a void that was impossible to fill. The prospect of communicating with lost loved ones, of getting a sign that they were at peace, was an irresistible lure. Esteemed figures like Mary Todd Lincoln, the First Lady of the United States, and Queen Victoria of England were also drawn to spiritualism. Their participation in seances in the White House and Buckingham Palace, respectively, added a seal of legitimacy to the practice. Yet, as with all things, the golden age of spiritualism eventually began to tarnish. The turning point came in 1888 when Maggie Fox, one of the pioneering Fox sisters, confessed that their communication with the dead was a grand hoax. The rapping noises, she revealed, were nothing more than the cracking of joints. This revelation, made in front of a crowd that reacted with a mix of cheers and hisses, was a shocking blow to the spiritualist community. But did this confession spell the end of spiritualism? Not quite. Despite the exposure of fraud and deception, many continued to believe. The lure of spiritualism was too strong, the comfort it provided too profound. Simone Natali, a professor at the University of Turin in Italy, noted that despite numerous instances of mediums faking communication with spirits, people's belief in spiritualism remained unshaken. Maggie's confession and subsequent recantation a year later did little to dampen the popularity of spiritualism. So what does this tell us about the lure of spiritualism? It shows that the human need for comfort, for answers, for closure is so powerful that it can withstand even the most revealing of truths. It reveals that belief, even in the face of concrete evidence to the contrary, can be unwavering. And it shows that spiritualism, whether a product of society's needs or the catalyst for them, has an enduring impact that cannot be easily dismissed. The rise and fall of spiritualism is a fascinating tale of belief, deception, and the human need for connection. But despite its peaks and valleys, the allure of spiritualism remains a testament to the enduring human quest for understanding beyond the tangible world.